Hey, what's up guys? I have a knife review for you today. Yes, thank you for patiently awaiting this knife review. This one is going to be on the Talon neck knife. Very interesting design. It's a very familiar design. That's because this looks just like, or very similar to, a hack, an HAK or hideaway knife. We're going to talk about that. That's where the drama is. That's where the controversy is. I have a little bit of stuff to say about that later in the video. If you've been around knives for a while, you've seen the hideaway knives. They've been around for years. That's the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, wow, that looks just like that. It's probably like a copy or ripoff or something. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to save the drama and stuff for the end of the video. So if you're into that or really just interested in what's going on with that, or want to hear what I have to say about it, wait till the end of the video. First, I'm just going to do the review portion. Now I have two of these. When you first get these, they have this black paracord wrap. It's a gutted 550 cord. All right, it's very comfortable. It also will reduce the size of the finger holes, you know, or the big oval hole, I should say, the one hole for two fingers. What I did was with the secondary one, which I think in the future I'm really going to put it through its paces and kind of just beat the crap out of it until it breaks. But for now, what I did was I carried this one with no wrap, just to see what that would be like. And there are some differences. I will talk about that in a little bit. So this one got the most use though, and I have a lot to say about this knife. Some interesting things. I've owned a hideaway knife before. I've owned this style of knife before, but what makes this one a little bit different, the first thing you notice is the little tail end here, okay? It's very handy. The main purpose here is when your two fingers are through the knife, it works as kind of like a, you know, a little bit of extra grip. Imagine an extended, you know, base plate on a, you know, a small model Glock or something. You know, you got the Glock 26 and you got that extended base plate that just gives you just a little bit of something for that third finger. That's what this feels like. That's what it's very reminiscent of. It gives you a little something extra to hold on to for grip. But what I've also found it to be very useful for is not in personal use or experience, but if need be, it can do a fair job as an impact tool, okay? Carrying this as a neck knife, you do have different options to carry this, we'll talk about in a minute, but let's say you do have it as a neck knife or on your side or whatever, you take it off with the sheath, all right, and you can use this, put your finger right through the hole here, as an impact weapon. Okay, you can use this to jab someone in the face, or if you know a little bit more about some pressure points and some different defensive techniques, you can certainly be more effective with this. Both, you know, in a grip like this, it feels fantastic in the hand, and even in the reverse grip. You just want to hold it like this and just kind of slam it into someone's skull, you know, or eyeball, or other tender areas. It would certainly be effective. So that's one little, just an oddball thing that I noticed. I know a lot of you guys like having, you know, non-lethal options. Having an exposed blade, even if you're very skilled defensively, it can escalate fairly quickly and you could accidentally kill someone. Maybe you don't mean to. You just want to defend yourself, but you don't feel like lethal force is necessary. So this may be a fantastic option. It really does feel great for an impact weapon. And in the future, like I said, when I'm beating the crap out of this one, you'll see testing. I will slam this into walls and bricks and the ground and everything, and I'll see how comfortable it really is, really using the crap out of it, and see, you know, if it breaks or anything like that too. Inherently, you can see the smaller pieces, or not pieces, but the smaller bridge that goes across there. That would be the weakest point in the handle. So a real good impact that might snap. We'll see. I'll do some destruction tests in the future with that one. But just as it is now, just something to mention is it would be very effective, you know, if used like that. You will notice that there is a hole in the frame there, which is nice. So you had the addition of a, you know, you could put a lanyard on there if you want. As a neck knife, I found it to be very easy to, you know, take on and off. I don't really need a lanyard, but once again, having a 2-finger hole there and having kind of a half a piece here for your third finger, if you really like, you know, smaller knives to have lanyards just for an extension on the grip, you can put a lanyard on here to get a full grip on here. All right, it'll help you overall if you're going to use a knife for a longer duration of time. As far as comfort, it was very, very comfortable. These come in 5 different sizes. You have to basically pick what like bracket of size you're in. In other words, like the first size will give you, okay, from this length to this length. And you have to, you know, go through a process of measuring your 2 fingers around, and the website gives you all the information on how to do this when you're ordering these. How this differs from the hideaway knife, okay, is that the hideaway knife is just a full-blown custom knife. This is a production knife. But being a production, they give you 5 separate options, 5 different sizes to best fit your fingers, your needs. My fingers just so happen to fall in between 2 of the options, okay? so that it's a little bit tight with the wrap on there. It's not a big deal, but you know, it's not as easily accessible. Without the wrap, it's fine. I have no issues getting it on and off to get that full grip. When I use the knife, sometimes I actually will grab it right over. In other words, the knife's on me. And I've done this on purpose. Naturally, what I want to do is put my fingers in here because it also helps you, you know, remove it from the sheath when it's hanging around your neck. But what I've also done purposely is just grab it, you know, overhand, just like a little pistol grip. And I've used it like this to cut. It's actually really comfortable like that. You don't necessarily have to put your fingers through the middle, although that's kind of the point of this. It's the biggest advantage of this particular knife design is having your fingers through there for a lot of reasons. The first reason would be obviously in a defensive situation, you're not gonna lose your knife. Your knife's not gonna fall out of your hands. Doesn't matter how sweaty you are, how nervous you are, how, you know, whatever the person does to you, this is not coming off. This is part of your hand now, okay? So that's a fantastic bonus if you're using this defensively. The other thing, which is the biggest thing, is that it's hands-free. So in this grip here, if I need to manipulate something, let's say a gun, say nothing in there, the magazine, you can fully manipulate this weapon even in this grip here. If need be, you want to use it in reverse grip, which is also very comfortable. Still, that little extension works on the middle finger now. Even better. You can draw a gun, it's out of the way. Okay, let's say, I don't know, something happens with the gun, it jams up. It's taken from you, it falls, whatever. If you had the opportunity, of course, I mean, this is kind of out there logic. I mean, the logic's great, but as far as reality is concerned, do you really have time to first, you know, stage a knife, then go for your gun? Yeah, probably not. But, you know, theoretically, if you were in a situation where you kind of saw something coming or had the time, you could do this before you maybe, you know, go for the gun and, you know, approach a situation cautiously. You could just dip down or, you know, go under your shirt or whatever you happen to have this, however you're carrying it, put it in this position here, and then of course draw your gun. So at least you have that option there. You have an exposed blade. Something happens with your gun, you need to drop it, you're fighting. You get into that kind of situation where the person has a hold of your gun, you know, you can sweep into them and just cut them away from you. But the whole purpose here to tell you this is that it's hands-free. You can work a lot of things hands-free. So it's uber tactical. And I use that as a joke because I think tactical is a joke because most of us don't need to be tactical. If you are part of the armed forces, then yes, that's very much a serious thing. That's very much part of your job and your life to keep you alive. However, for most of us, we don't need to be tactical. It just seems convenient and cool at times. But same deal with anything else. You can grab a flashlight, you can operate anything. By the way, I'm gonna be reviewing this very soon. Fantastic light. You can do anything hands-free. Becomes part of your hand, it's like an extension. You could even manipulate other knives if need be. Okay, so it's just kind of an added bonus that you can use it hands-free. And particularly in this position because the blade is facing away from you or towards the back of your hand, so your palm is kind of completely open and it's away, it's not gonna get in the way. Carrying in this position here, still the same deal, but I find that it still kind of gets in the way, manipulating certain things, particularly like you saw before the gun. It's kind of up here, it's pushing against the frame a little more. You know, with the use of opening a knife. It's kind of, I don't know, it's more in the way because most of the time when you're using your hand, you're using the top portion of your hand more often than the bottom, if that makes any sense. But just to show, it's one of the major advantages of this particular design is one, extremely secure in your grip for defensive purposes, and two, you do have the option of it being, you know, very hands-free, which is just very nice. You can do whatever you want, manipulate anything. Even if you're not using this in a tactical situation or a defensive situation, maybe you're just a dude and you need a good knife for work and you're like cutting down boxes. This is a great option. Nice little hawkbill blade, you know, cuts in nice and deep. I'll talk about the blade steel in a minute here and my thoughts on it too because it's fairly new to me. I've only used it once before. But even like for utility work, you're just a stock guy, you know, and you're just in the back room in your boring job and you're cutting down all these cardboard boxes. At least you have, you know, you can manipulate things, you can grab things. When you need to, you can get in there and make your cut. So it's just, I don't know, it's a really convenient design. It's very cool. As a neck knife, it's awesome. Keep notes that when it's hanging, there is a cant. Obviously, you can see it's a 45-degree angle from the handle to the blade. So our handle's here, naturally. If we're holding a regular knife, we'd expect our blade to be straight up, you know, in line with the handle, but this is canted on a 45, which aids in cutting, which is also very nice. But the downside to that is when it's hanging, it'll naturally hang straight down. And you know, for me, being a righty in the setup it is as a neck knife, most times I'd want to put my fingers in here, but I have to twist my hand just a little bit. It's really not a big deal, but I thought I'd mention it. I just had to get used to it. Maybe 2 or 3 days of just grabbing it. When I first started doing it, I ended up grabbing it like this because it was more comfortable. But after I got used to it, I would draw it with my fingers through, you know, and then shimmy it up and use it like that. But anyway, the sheath is great on this. It's nice molded sheath. You can see the open rivets here. A little bit of a cutout here on the top. So it allows for you to use it, you know, with your thumb to get that sheath off. Just aids in that a little bit. Let me show the accessories a little bit before I talk more about this blade. One thing I do like about this though, is that the blade is less than 2 inches. It's only 1.75 inches, and that equates to 45 millimeters. And I said that because I know a lot of you guys are overseas and you don't care about inches. So 45 millimeters is your blade length on this. I'm trying to forget which box has all the accessories still. I want to show you how it comes when you get this thing brand new. Here's the box. Okay, so you open the box and it looks like this, and your knife's sitting on top, all pretty like, you're like, oh yeah, it's my knife, it's awesome. And you take this thing off the top. You're excited about your knife. You're not like la-di-da. You're like, oh, it's friggin' my knife. Oh, what's in this? Oh, what's that? We all do that because we love it. So here's our accessories. Let me show you the paperwork too. Get this out of the way. We get a little accessories pouch. Nice little drawstring bag, and it has all kinds of crap in here. We have some zip ties if you wanted to permanently attach the sheath to something. It's a great option, something you don't see with other neck knives. If you want to mount this in your car somewhere, on a backpack, like permanently, something like that, you can use the zip ties for that. Of course, you can use zip ties for anything, so it's just convenient to have. But besides that, we have 3 more colors. You're going to get the black on your knife, but you get a second black piece of gutted paracord, the perfect length for this wrap, by the way. You get a coyote brown, and you also get an OD green. So if you want to change the color on the wrap, you can do so. Or let's say you order a size that's way too big, you can even double up on the wrap to decrease the interior diameter, so it's more snug on your fingers. So that's a nice little option, just in case you happen to not be a paracord quarter. You also get this, which is awesome. You could put this, this is something that's very unique, and I haven't used this yet, but I like it. It's cool, but I don't know how to use it quite yet. We'll see, maybe I'll use it in the future. But basically, you use this rivet through the sheath. You can mount it on any of the holes. And now you have a swivel, and the top is a clip that's very similar to suspenders. It's like a suspenders clip. So you can actually like clip this to your shirt as if it was like an ID badge or something. You can clip it, I suppose, to your pant leg somewhere, a bag. It's just another way to carry it. I don't know how secure this is going to be. It's just a really cool novelty. I've never seen this before. I love the idea. All right, so just imagine it as if it was like a badge or something. It would swivel, whatever you're attaching it to. I will probably play around with this in the future and see if there's a different type of carry method that I may like, or for a backup knife or something. Who knows, but you can definitely get creative with that. It's a nice little addition. And, oh, this is the bag I already took it from, but you will get a black coated ball and chain necklace. Now I always modify mine so that it's the right height on my neck, but you get a substantially long chain. It's probably like a 28-inch long chain. So what I do is I'll unsnap the chain right here, open it up, get the length I want on my body, use a little pair of pliers, usually my Leatherman, whatever multi-tool I happen to have on me, and I'll just use the wire cutter part of it, and just nip that off, the extra length that I'm not going to use, and then I'll have the perfect length on my neck to carry it as a neck knife. So that's all the accessories and stuff. Put that off to the side. What else to talk about? There's jimping on top here, and here's what I can say about this. This is perfect jimping. If you're into that thing, that's your thing, man. Jimping is your stuff. This is the jimping you want. I have one problem with it. As perfect as it is, and it fits the thumb perfectly, this is when I use it. When I carry it or use it with this grip. Okay? It's perfect, absolutely perfect. The problem I have is that when I put my fingers in here, it's not ergonomic. My finger doesn't, I have to kind of be conscious of reaching for it. Honestly, when I grabbed it naturally just in carrying and using it, my thumb landed here. it totally missed the jimping. So it's awkward to reach up there. It feels strange to me. This grip, perfect. Very, very functional. The obvious disadvantage if you're watching the video intently is that when you have an overhand grip like this, you might have a tendency to ride up on the knife. If you're really, you know, cutting something really hard, just getting into it, you're not nearly as safe as if your fingers are in here. There's no way you're going to get cut with it like this. If you are doing an overhand grip like this, or even a reverse grip like this, you can slide up on that blade. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you're doing light cutting chores. I did grab it like this. I never had a problem. Never cut myself with it, but I was holding it firmly. But anyway, jimping's perfect. It's just in this grip here, it doesn't, for me, doesn't naturally, I don't naturally land there. But if your finger happens to naturally land, maybe you have longer fingers than me, then it might be perfect for you. But for my hands, it just misses. Hawkbill style blade is good. I've always preferred Hawkbill style blades, just in general. They're great slicers. Naturally when you're cutting into something, it just cuts deeper and deeper. It scoops the material, whatever you're cutting into. And with a nice sharp Hawkbill, it is a nasty, nasty slicer. All right. And you also still get a nice acute point on this for penetration if you need to puncture into boxes to make that initial cut. That's also done very well. The one thing that's on this that's a little funky or different is the steel. I've never used the steel before. This is an X45 CR MOV15. Yes, the CR MOV probably sounds familiar because it's in the same family as all the other ones we know. There's a million of them. It's definitely on the soft side. The steel is also known as V35. Hold on a second. Check my cell phone here. Here we go. There's that metallurgy app I told you guys about before. X45 CRMOV15. See the chromium content between 0.42 and 0.55, vanadium 0.10 and 0.15. I'm sorry, excuse me, carbon. The carbon's the first one, then vanadium, then chromium, and so on. And then obviously the mimicking steel, V35, it's exactly the same components, the same elements I should say. It's just, I guess that's the shorter name and a more convenient name to use. And this is made by Ossenberg, proprietary steel. If you don't know about the metallurgy and you don't know about carbon content and all that other stuff, chromium, what it really does for the blades and all that, here's a simple answer. This functions and feels to me just like AUS 6 in a nutshell. That's what it's like. It's a soft, softer steel, much softer steel. Rockwell in this is 59 to 60. With any soft steel you have are pros and cons. The pro is extremely easy to sharpen. The con doesn't hold an edge as long as maybe you're used to with some of the higher end stuff. Not a big deal. Price will always reflect that. Speaking of price, these sell for $57 Canadian, which is about $55.40 or so US. I think it's $55.38 exactly, plus shipping. Talon is located in Canada. So a lot of my Canadian viewers will love this because if you like this knife, you're buying it in Canada. You don't have to worry about the crazy, I gotta ship it from US again or wherever around the world. It's designed in the US, it's made in China, but it's sold in Canada. Now the back here, actually it's on this one because it's underneath the wrap. There's a logo, Talon. And I know it's on here somewhere, I saw it somewhere. Maybe it's on the spine? What the heck, am I imagining things? Hold on. I could have sworn, oh, there it is. They're hiding it on you. Inside our little hook. China. Oh, duh. I guess it would be, yeah, it's exposed. Okay, so they're not hiding anything. But yeah, these are made in China. If you have a problem with that, don't buy it. I don't have a problem with that. Now here's where the controversy comes in. I'm gonna get into this whole thing now. And I'm actually going to read you an excerpt. I printed this out so I wouldn't have to ad lib to it because I don't want to change the wording. But this is from a website called The Martialist. And they do a lot of reviews on different things, martial arts related stuff. This was an interview that was done with the owner of Talon Knives, and it gives his opinion on the controversy. And I want to read this word for word. I printed this all out so you guys, I'm literally reading it word for word. So I'm not making anything up. In other words, I don't want to add or subtract from anything from here because these have quotes from the owner about the controversy between, Talon knives and why it looks so much like the Hideaway knives. And it also has a quote from the Hideaway knives maker and so forth. So I'm going to read this directly to you. All right, so here's the controversy and challenges section on the Talon review on the Marshallist website. So here we go. Talon knives are made in China by the same factory that produces a line of knives for a major American sporting knife manufacturer. The product line consists of 5 different handle sizes to accommodate most users' finger measurements. Knives are retailed through the company website right now, but Rod, that's the owner of Talon Knives, is currently exploring relationships with a number of online brick-and-mortar retailers. The appearance of the Talon immediately drew comparisons to other knives on the market, some of them quite unfavorable. Most notably, the Talon has been called a rip-off, in quotes, of a hideaway design, a design of which Rod says he was aware of when the Talon was created. In our opinion, Hideaway makes excellent knives, Rod says. Their high-end models feature custom workmanship and proprietary steel choices. I would encourage anyone who is interested in a truly custom-made 2-finger EDC knife to check them out. I personally own a number of Hideaway knives and enjoy carrying and using them. So let me stop there for a second. The owner is interviewed about his knives, and he is asked, hey, these look just like these other knives. What do you think about that? Or what do you have to say about that? And he's coming in right out in the open and saying, yes, this looks very similar to the other knife. In fact, he goes on later in saying that he owns many of them. It's a fantastic knife. But here's where he got my respect, is he said, if you want basically the better version, of course it's going to cost you more money, but yeah, if you're into a full custom knife of this design, by all means, go with the Hideaway knife. They're fantastic knives. That was very nice. Whether you think he stole or copied this design, that's totally irrelevant. I'll read more onto explaining the controversy here. But I like that. That's a respectful answer. It's not, hey, this is my design. There's no argument there. There's no negativity. Look, they make fantastic knives. I own a couple. They're really, really nice. I would highly recommend someone who has the money to get them to go ahead and try them. Fantastic. I like that. That got my respect. So here, I'm going to read on. Rod believes the Talon differs significantly, however, in several ways. The handle design extends to include the ring finger and reduce torsion during cutting. Okay, so we were talking about before, that little tail end, that's not on a Hideaway knife, never has been. Okay. He explains, while the Talon incorporates a different, more aggressive thumb position and jimping, the blade-to-hand geometry is also different, he says, and he believes the Talon's sheath is of a superior design. Anyone who frequents the many knife forums is familiar with the fact that knives are extremely similar in design and preferred by different users, sometimes to the point of fanaticism, Rod says. Pick up a Talon and it feels different in the hand than a Hideaway. When it boils right down to it, isn't that the reason why most of us choose one particular knife over another? William Erickson of Hideaway Knife disagrees. And this is a quote from William Erickson. I hate it when someone rips off my designs and produces them in China to sell them here in the USA, he says. Some of my customers do not realize they're buying a ripoff of my designs. Talon sells 5 sizes, eliminating inventory. Be nice if I could read. Hooked on phonics work for me. Let me redo that. Talon sells 5 sizes, which eliminating inventory costs, but not achieving perfect fit for all, so the odd fingers lose. All right, that's a quote from, once again, William Erickson. What he's basically saying is, hey, this guy ripped off my design, and our knives are custom fit to you, and if you get these, they're a production version, and if your fingers happen to fall in between 2 sizes, you're crap out of luck. So that's his take on it. Erickson even threatens to undercut his competitors. My customers advise me not to produce a competing model to rip off in China, he says, but I think that might be required to drive the profit levels to the point where there is no profit for these folks. The problem goes beyond similar blades like the Talon and extends to outright counterfeits, William explains. Again, a quote from Hideaway Knives CEO. My customers advise me... Oh, wait a minute. I lost my spot. I'm confusing you. A quote from Williams. On some sites, even my FS trademark is copied exactly. I understand capitalism, so I will offer a 5-size identical model to any ripoff at half the prevailing ripoff cost. So basically, he's just poo-pooing, Talon knives, and he sees it as this was his original design, and this is a ripoff. I get that point of view too. if I had created this design originally, I may be frustrated in that, hey, someone else is making money off my design. But you know, that I'm gonna leave this, guys, up to you. And there's no right or wrong opinion. You can clearly say that this is a similar knife, and you can say to yourself, well, you know what, that sucks. The guy shouldn't have ripped off the design. Or you can see it on the other side, which is, you know what, a lot of knives are similar. And who's to say just because this person created a 2-finger knife like this that no one can improve on it. So I think the owner of Talon Knives, Rod, I think his original concept is, hey, I like this knife, it works great. Let me try to improve it because this may make it better in his opinion. I personally don't see anything wrong with that. You may see something wrong with that, but I wanted to lay that out for you guys, just the controversy with it, because I know the comments, if I didn't mention any of this stuff, the comments are going to say all these things that you might not be privy to. You might not understand it because maybe you weren't exposed to other similar knives. There are other ones on the market. I would never, you know, recommend buying straight out counterfeits, you know, like the guy from Hideaway Knives is basically saying that there's literally rip-offs down to like my logo and stuff. That's not cool. I never thought that was cool, but something like this, it's different. Hey, it's up to you. It's really his personal opinion whether you want to, you know, buy something like this or not. But here's the biggest difference: price. Okay, you have a cheaper production version of a custom knife that's out there. If you have the money, just like the owner of this company is saying, if you have the money to do so, buy a Hideaway knife. You're going to pay right now, their prices are $139 for an S30V version or $189 for a titanium version. For that money, you're going to get an exact fit to your fingers. You're also going to obviously get, you know, better materials. You're also going to get a variety of blade shapes. The Talon knife only comes in this particular blade shape, but that's a lot more money as opposed to 56 bucks, you know, that you're paying for a Talon. So it's a toss-up. It just really comes down to, some of you guys can afford it and you'll get with the Hideaway knife, or you get a couple of them, and some of you guys can't afford it but you really love the design, so you might end up with something like this. That's all it comes down to. It's really personal preference. I try not to read into drama and controversy. It exists for a reason. Obviously people are upset when they feel that they've been done wrong. I totally understand that. I understand both sides of the story here. For me, you know, I always try to be neutral for you guys. I just tell you what the product's like in my opinion. I try to keep out the politics and the controversy to the side because I don't want it to create a biased opinion to this. You know, if I created this design and someone made a very similar version of it, I would pick it up and say, this is a total piece of crap. It might not be a piece of crap, but that would be my opinion because I have a bias towards it because I don't like it. I'm annoyed by it, you know? But these I don't think are a piece of crap. They certainly are a cheaper version. You're going to get a little bit less quality, but you're going to pay a little less price for it. You know, it's not going to hold an edge as long. It's not going to fit maybe as perfect as the custom would, but again, that's the difference between production and custom. Made in China production, made in USA custom. You have the money to do it, do it. You don't, this is an option. That's all. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. I like these knives. I'll continue carrying this on and off compared to, you know, to other neck knives. I think it's a great option. You know, the obvious benefits, as already mentioned, having the secure grip, having the option to be hands-free is a pretty big bonus. You don't get that with a lot of different knife designs. So it is the major pro, in my opinion. Also extremely lightweight. I didn't find a weight online for these, nothing compared to, but I weighed it myself and it weighed 1.6 ounces. So extremely light. In my opinion, I mean, I've been used to carrying the Brass Blade Silent Soldier, so that thing's a beast compared to this. It gets lost on your neck. You can carry it, of course, you know, on your side if you want to. You can just put it right in your pocket. It's like a lot of neck knives. It'll fit right down your pocket if you want to. Throw a little lanyard on there, take it out, you know, manually take the sheath off, put it back in your pocket if you want to. Or even with the ball and chain, as I've showed before, you can loop this through your, you know, belt loop on your pants, and then stick it in your pocket. This way, when you draw it out of the pocket, remember this is connected. Let's say my finger is the loop on your pants, your jeans or your cargo pants, whatever. All right, put this through the loop, just like so. All the way thing, whatever, you get it. You get it, it's on a loop, right? Put this in your pocket. You take it, you know, you dip down your pocket, put your fingers through it, and as you pull it out of your pocket, it'll de-sheath it so you can use it all one-handed. You don't have to worry about that. Then, of course, you will have to use your offhand to grab that sheath to put it back and put it back in your pocket. But a lot of different carry options on it. It's, like I said, the cheaper option, the production version, so to speak, of a hideaway knife. So I like them. I would recommend them if you really can't afford the hideaway knife, but I would agree with Rod just the same, just respectfully. You know, the hideaway knife is the better option if you have the money to get one. And the time, by the way. Don't forget, it's a custom knife. There is going to be a wait time for it, whereas these are pre-made and stocked. Okay? I love custom knives. Here's custom knives. It's really just a hand, but I wish it was just a bunch of custom knives. And here's production knives. I love customs, but I will always be a production knife guy. Why? Because availability and price. Production knives will always be easier to get and they will always be cheaper. Just what it comes down to. So that's what I mainly focus on. A lot of times for reviews, for personal use, things that I actually buy, things I use, things I trade for. I will always love great, fantastic, expensive custom knives, but sometimes they're very hard to get and very expensive. So anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching my Talon knives review. I appreciate your time as always. I have more knives to review, so if you saw one before I kind of teased you with and you're wondering where it is, it's coming, I promise. Got a lot of things in the works, just trying to find the time to do so. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take care, guys.